Welcome to More Than a Paycheck, the podcast for high achievers who feel trapped in their job but know something has to change. If your bad manager and toxic work environment have you stressed and working crazy hours, and you want an easier solution than finding a new job, you're in the right place. Let's do this. Hey y'all, how's everybody doing? It's wild times out there. Not gonna lie, I got a lot of feelings, and a lot of them are not great. I also totally have this cognitive dissonance. There's been some really just terrible, tragic things that have happened to some loved ones around me recently. That's just really hard to deal with, and I'm just letting it be hard because I don't want to feel good about it yet. And at the same time, I also have some things going on that I'm so excited about. And things in the world are crazy and happening very fast and getting crazier. So I'm focusing on trying to find things I can do in my immediate community to be the good, to support people, to help out where I can, as I'm just kind of allowing myself to have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it and let it just be a little bit messy. So I hope you're holding up and doing the same. One of the things I want to tell you about today before I jump into the topic that I'm so excited about is a change in how I'm running my coaching practice. So right now what's happening is I just don't have enough capacity for the demand. There's a lot of people that want one-on-one coaching to help kind of with their career and get unstuck and feel motivated and kind of deal with the anxiety that comes from working in corporate today. And I love my clients and I get to work with some amazing people, but there's more of you that want help than I have time to. So I'm working on switching things up a little bit. I'm still going to be offering private one-on-one coaching, but I'm going to be switching it up to hopefully be able to help and scale it. So I will still be offering live coaching with my existing clients. And as those ebb and flow, I will open up more spots as I have available. But I'm also going to start doing private coaching with folks kind of more through a on-demand video format. So you'll submit a video to me that'll be private that only you and I can see, and I'll submit a video back to you. I'm also excited because I'm hoping this will be accessible to a lot of people. It's going to be less than $1 a day. So it's going to include so many helpful resources, a handful of the courses I already have. I'm creating some more courses. We're going to do monthly deep dives where you're able to get some help immediately live. So if that's of interest to you, I'm going to kind of beta test this at first. So I'm only going to open it up to a handful of folks. If you want to be one of those beta testers and get in at like my launch pricing, which I know I will raise eventually, go to lindsaylymanccoaching.com/waitlist and join the waitlist. This will just help you be one of the first people to know when the beta program actually opens, and you can try this video coaching on demand. So I'm super excited about it. It's going to be so fun, and I'm hoping that it will allow me to help even more of you feel good. Stop getting the Sunday scary. Stop dragging yourself through work. Stop feeling stuck like you don't have any options, because you do have options. We all just need a little help to get there. And unfortunately, our companies and HR aren't really there doing what we need them to do. HR at the end of the day is there to protect your company. I like to think they're not bad, evil people. Many of my good friends work in HR. They do great things, but they're there to help protect the company. You need someone and deserve someone that's there advocating for you and helping you navigate your career. So it's going to be awesome. Go to lindsaylymanccoaching.com/waitlist. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. It's going to be so fun. All right. Today we are continuing on part 3 of our burnout series. And today we're going to talk about, what do you do when you are like physically just tired and exhausted? So what happens is we talk about this a lot of times cognitively, we get it. So remember, we've talked about like, what are the 5 core basics to emotional health? We've talked about how do you close that stress cycle that you feel. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about how do you build resilience so that you can continue to deal with the things that come at you. Because as many of you know, you can't just switch from job to job. It's not going to solve the problem. You might be in a job where you have a terrible manager and you get into a different job and your manager isn't terrible, which is awesome. But guess what? There's a lot of bad managers out there. And most companies reorg quite frequently, at least once a year, if not more. So chances are you're going to run into another bad manager, or funding gets cut, or there are more layoffs that are still happening. There's so many unknowns. So if your only solution is to just run away, it gets tricky to have the career you want and grow and progress and feel successful and make an impact when you have to keep job hopping, right? So today I want to talk a little bit about how do you build that resilience so that your only option is not just leaving and finding something new. Nervous system resilience is kind of a buzzword these days. Really, it's your ability of your nervous system. So you're sympathetic, parasympathetic, you have lots of different nerves going through your body. They're categorized in a million different ways. But nervous system resilience is essentially the ability of your nervous system, your physical body, to regulate stress and maintain a healthy level of emotion. When your nervous system is resilient, you can feel balanced and centered and can respond to all the things life is throwing at you. Okay. So resilience is the key. It's not running away and trying to control things so the hard things never happen. I'm all for preventing as much of it as we can, but hard things just happen. So where I see a lot of people struggle is I kind of think of it as a continuum. If you're struggling with something, you're usually in the part on the continuum where it's like the unknown, and you want to get to the other end of the continuum where it's known. So I don't know what to do about my bad manager. I don't know how to feel motivated about work again. I don't know how to feel driven and excited when the job market is as terrible as it is, right? So we're in these unknown states, and we want to get to the part where we know what to do. I'm going to leave this company, and this is the company I'm going to and the job I'm going to have. We know this is what motivates me and what I want out of my career next and how I'm going to go get it. But in between the unknown and the knowing, there's a whole lot of ups and downs, and we don't know how long it's going to take to get there. That in between the unknown and known is what we call learning. Okay? You got to go and you got to figure it out. Now, here's the thing. Most of our schooling systems and how our brain is wired, it's going to obsess and tell you this is scary and horrible and terrible and no good, very bad if we don't know, right? You think of how you get graded in a schooling system. You get rewarded for knowing. You get in trouble if you don't know. But resilience is learning, how do you go all in and out? How do you go through the ups and downs of that dangerous part of going from unknowing to knowing? Resilience is not giving up and quitting, but it's also not doing it at the expense of your mental sanity and your physical health. Resilience is not stopping and spinning in self-pity and resistance to like, why me? I can't believe this is happening. Why are we here again? And staying in the confusion part. So if I'm not motivated in my job, in my career, and I'm not sure what to do, I got to go figure it out. Now, here's the thing. That resistance, it's hard. It doesn't feel great. Learning how to have that resistance, it's not always fun, but it's required to get to the part where you do know what to do and you figured it out. It's required to know I should leave this company or I should wait it out. So nervous system resilience, learning how to feel the hard and be okay, is a key part because the resistance is impacting your physical body. It's why logically, today I have a job, today everything's okay, my job on paper's great, I should be grateful and happy, but in your body physically, you're a mess. You're full of anxiety. You can't sleep. You're not able to shut off your brain. You're freaked out. You're worried you're going to get on a performance improvement plan because you haven't created some magical brand new system and your brain's convinced you that's dangerous and you're going to get on a performance improvement plan. When we don't know how to regulate our nervous system, which means bounce back and forth between fight, flight, or freeze, and rest and digest. Remember, resilience is your ability to go between the two. It's not staying in one or the other. When we don't know how to do that, we start to have heart issues. We get ulcers. We don't sleep. We can't shut our brain off. And when your body is constantly in fight or flight, when that is your habit, your nervous system doesn't feel safe to come out of that space, to not be anxious, to not be worried. And so we get stuck in that fight or flight space, and eventually burnout comes because your body and your nervous system will eventually, they can't take it anymore, and it'll just shut down. And we will fall into that burnout and that depression. Okay. So I think of nervous system resilience in kind of 3 different levels. Okay. So at a whole, we have fight or flight and rest and digest. The goal is to learn, how do I live in both of those different places, and how do I go back and forth on purpose? And I'll explain to you what that means in a minute. But I want to explain kind of these 3 levels of how I think of it. Each level is based essentially on like kind of energy and how you feel essentially. So the bottom level of these 3 tiers of nervous system resilience is very low energy. This is where burnout and depression and sadness exist. Okay. So if we think of nervous system resilience, 3 different levels: bottom level, low energy, sad, burnout, depression. Okay. There's a whole lot of other emotions that live down there, but they're very low energy. The middle section, I call this home. This is where we want to be. This is what we want to build. This is where you feel safe. Now, there's a whole lot of emotions in there. They're not all good and they're not all bad. You think of like in your house, things are hard, but it's a safe place for it to be hard. You know how to be sad at home. You know how to be scared and be annoyed and worried. Home is your safe place to do that. You also know how to be happy and at peace and feel calm and joy and excitement. Okay. So home is where the familiar emotions are. They are your habits and what you're comfortable feeling. So bottom is very low energy. Our middle tier, our home, is where we are able to feel balanced and centered, right? It's balanced. It's up and it's down and it's equal. We're okay. The top level of this nervous system resilience is very high energy, and it's stress and it's anxiety and it's panic. Now, if our goal is to build home and to hang out in that mid-level, the thing is, we don't want to avoid the top or bottom, but I think of them as like vacation homes. We want to go there sometimes, but we want to come back and we want to live at home most of the time. I need a little stress. I need a deadline to get some things done. That's very helpful and healthy for me. If I don't have a deadline, it's hard for me to actually do it and not save it till the end. That's really helpful stress for me. I want and need sadness and low energy sometimes because there's things I don't want to feel good about. I don't want to feel good when my friends lose their job. I recently lost 3 amazing female leaders to cancer, and it's not good. I don't want to feel balanced or high energy about it today. I want to be bummed. I want to be sad. I want to be depressed about it. But I don't want to live there. I don't want to get stuck there. But it's like a little vacation home I want to go to. So resilience is knowing, how do I get myself back to home when I've gone up to the top or down to the bottom? The more you know how to feel whatever's coming up for you, the better you are at feeling them, the more comfortable you are with them, the more you are building home and the more emotions are going to live there. Because these 3 levels, they're usually not equal. The goal is to have home to be our largest, fattest level, and our high energy stress and our low energy sadness a little bit smaller than home. We still want them. But what happens is most of us get stuck in a high or a low energy place, and we don't know how to get out of it. We lack the resilience to come back home. This is where I was when I left Amazon. I don't even know if I had a home layer to go to. Like, that was not my habit. That was not comfortable. Feeling okay, feeling just chill, going with the flow when that would happen at work, when things were quiet, I would freak out because it was so uncomfortable to me. I was like, where's the fire? Where's the problem? Where's the panic? Where's the stress? And I would create it in my mind. I really don't think I had a home layer. I lived in that top zone, stress, anxiety. That was my huge, fattest layer. And let me tell you, I was very rewarded for it at work because I got a lot done. I was highly productive in that stress, anxiety, high pressure induced environment that I was working in. But I did it at the expense of my body and my relationships. They're the ones that paid the price. So when I left Amazon, what happened is I kind of crashed down into that like burnout, depression, and I didn't want to do a thing. I worked a lot with my coach on this, and now I'm building home. It's kind of homework for life. Resilience is learning, how do you take the stressors? How do you take the sadness? How do you feel it? How do you deal with it? How do you spend a vacation with it? And how do you get yourself back home? What I will tell you, there's no like magic overnight tricks. This takes practice. And when people talk about you need to go do the work, I think this is the work that they're talking about, and it's so worth doing. So if you are one of my clients, go and listen to the foundational course. I have dozens of modules teaching you exactly what do you do to build home. Okay. How do you feel better and how do you build resistance while you're in the thick of these hard, heavy, big things? If you're not one of my clients, go join the wait list. This is going to be one of the courses available to you through my video coaching program. But in the meantime, go back and listen to episode 1. If you're feeling like you don't have a lot of resilience, you're not able to balance out the good and the bad, go back to episode 1 on this burnout series and focus on those 5 core basics: sleep, light, movement, nutrition, connection. And the other thing I'd offer to you, learn to breathe in healthy ways. Create a healthy meditation practice or a breathing practice. Breathing is the fastest way to calm your nervous system and get you out of fight or flight and get you into rest and digest. Breathing is your most powerful asset and tool when you are in the thick of it. There's other practices we need to do to help you build habits of balance, of resilience. But if you find yourself in the thick of it, go to the physiological side, go do box breathing, go do some meditation. There's a million different ways to do it, but you've got to learn, how do you create safety and feel balanced and okay in your body? That means we know how to feel emotions. We're not scared. We know how to process it. We know how to deal with it so that we can keep showing up and being the kind of person we want to be. If not, we will live in high stress and anxiety and panic, and eventually just come crashing down when your nervous system has had enough and we are stuck in burnout. And that will become your everyday normal habit. There are ways out of it. Go focus on those 5 core basics. If you're my client, go listen to the foundational video courses. We can talk about it on our next call. But I want you to know, going from unknown to known is scary and hard, and that's okay. That's where resilience and learning happens. When you know how to be okay while you're not okay, that is when you figure it out. All right, y'all, you're amazing. You got this. Go join the wait list. You're going to love it. We'll talk soon. Hey, you didn't schedule a coffee chat yet. Remember, that's the next step. There's so much more I can help you with. You're going to leave this coffee chat knowing a few things you can try right now, depending on your specific situation. This is not a sales call. My goal is simply to help however I can. If I do think coaching can help, I can tell you about it, but I'm currently on a wait list for new clients. Click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat to get on my calendar. I only offer a few coffee chats a week and it's first come, first serve, so don't wait. Chat with you soon.